Good morning. So, just a couple of exercises for warming up. It's quite important that we warm up before we enter a form or a set, just to make sure everything's in its right place. We don't want to do ourselves any injustices, so we'll start with just sort of bouncing, just from the knees, just a sort of a shaking, loosening. It's a very simple way to start. Just having a shake. Doesn't need to look amazing, it's just really shaking the body out. So as we do this, imagining all the soft parts of the body shaking off the bones, creating space and sort of lubricating the muscles so we can have a bit more of a rigorous shake in the shoulders from left to right. Notice how the breath does with this. And then shaking out the legs. My teacher famously described this as shaking out ice cubes from your trouser leg. So imagining having ice cubes in your trouser leg, if that's a thing. Shaking them out, shaking the whole leg. Letting the ankle be soft. So just really the foot's just doing whatever happens at the end of the leg. Okay, shaking out the arms, shaking out the hands and the wrists. Really loosening everything up. Great, okay. We'll bring the hands together, rub the hands together to create warmth, and look at the hands as we do this. So really thinking about the connection between the two hands, feeling it, but also seeing it. And then we're gonna rub, interlink the fingers and roll around in both directions. So working that very complicated wrist joint, the joints in the wrist, and then loosening the hand a little bit and gradually letting them sort of come apart. Wriggle the fingers. It's great to keep the fingers active and in motion. You can give your hands a bit of a massage in between the joints at the base of the finger. Okay, just shake them out again like this. So the sides, and then like this, which looks very silly but very healthy. Okay, and then we're going to start sort of just patting down from the hips, the sides of the legs, patting down the sides of the legs. You can bend your knees to get lower if you need to. It's not a stretch, it's really just about getting down to the ankles and around the foot. And then we're going to come up the inside, patting up the inside of the legs, up to the hip bone. So give the hip bone a bit of a tap, and then we're going to do that 2 or 3 more times. Down the sides of the legs, up the ankle, up the inside. All the way down, round the foot, and then up one last time, tapping down the sides of the legs. Okay. Again, we're going to knock on the hip bone a little bit, or tap, or knock with sort of loose fists. And then we're not going to punch, we're not going to tap too much around the belly, that's uncomfortable. But when we get up to the sternum and the chest, we can knock around the lungs, around where the heart is. Knocking up around here. And then with the flatter hand, we're going to pat round the neck and over the shoulder, and we can use this hand to help the elbow get that hand that little bit further. So just tapping, knocking. Sometimes you feel little shock waves coming through the body here, which is great. Just waking that area up. energizing it. Okay, and then from the shoulder, we're going to rub down this outside of the arm off the little finger. Have a couple of breaths with that. And the same on the other side. So just brushing off down the outside of the arm, off the little finger. And then we're going to come up the inside of the hand. So running the meridians, really, in a very general way. So up over the shoulder and then off the little finger. We come up the other side, the other arm, down, and then we join in with the other hand. So we've got this sort of cycle of running. So up the inside, down off the little finger, up the other side, down off the other little finger. And have a look as we do this. We can move the chi with our gaze as well as our sort of inner vision, if that makes any sense. Great, okay. Let's just roll the shoulders out, opening the chest. And just relax for a moment. Let's just come back to our Wu-Ji standing, so nice parallel feet. Loosening the hip, straight spine, soft knees, feet connecting to the ground. So a few breaths. All important. Crown reaching up to the sky. And we're straightening the spine as we do this. So as we breathe in and out, we get a little bit smaller. Breathing in, we become a bit taller. And as we reach a more balanced state, those extensions, that rising and falling becomes more subtle. Maintaining the connection to the floor through our feet. Good. Shake out the legs again. Rub the hands together. And we just come to the face and just smooth over the eyes, over the eyebrows, corners of the eyes carefully. And then smoothing over the cheeks, opening the nasal cavity a bit. Making that easier to breathe in through the nose, smoothing down the jowls, the throat, and then sort of sorting your hair out, depending on what kind of hair you've got, if you have hair. But really just sort of running the fingers over the top of the head, around the hairline, giving that a bit of a massage. We come around to the back of the head and massage that point where the spine meets the skull, and the bottom of the head, around the neck, whatever feels good. Great. And then just a fun little brush off, just a sort of the backs of the legs, quite important. We didn't do that. So rub the backs of the legs, behind the knees. There's big tendons behind the knees. Okay, last little brush off. And we're ready to start our practice. Good stuff. Thank you.